Well, a brand new report just dropped that one NFC East team has already started calling Philadelphia about trading for Haason Reddick, although Reddick himself just refuted the idea of ever wanting to leave Philly. DeVonta Smith revealed exactly what Kellen Moore told him about the Eagles' new offensive scheme. Deebo Samuel, he's still crying about that Super Bowl loss, and Jason Kelce dropped yet another hint about his offseason timeline. From Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. I still can't get over the fact the 49ers talked so much trash and then lost the Super Bowl. Like, imagine their embarrassment just 2 days after that absolute epic collapse of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's one thing to not talk a lot of trash and then lose a close, hard-fought, classic game in the Super Bowl, but to start talking trash as long as, 2 years ago when they lost to us in the NFC Championship game and then lose the Super Bowl? Drop a like down below. Can we get 1,000 likes for the 49ers just absolutely collapsing and crying about it after that loss? Also, you know Deebo is really going through it when he hasn't posted anything to his social media accounts, despite the fact he's always on social media. I mean, the guy had 3 catches, 33 yards, and a terrible performance when he was targeted over 10 times. Biggest game of your career, man. You got to show up or else you're going to get a lot of heat. Plus, now throw in Fletcher clowning Deebo Samuel on IG like we talked about yesterday. And how about Aaron Donald getting in on the fun with this post yesterday? Oh, man, I'll be honest. I can't stand Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, but I am happy that Big Red was able to quiet our, again, not division rivals, but can we say conference rivals on Sunday night? I mean, they gave us this clip of Bay Area radio hosts just crying the day after their loss.
We'll try to get through this as the journey ends with a thud. The 49ers lose Super Bowl 58 in overtime to Kansas City. And it may be one of the most excruciating, painful losses in 49ers franchise history.
It's one of the hardest games to stomach. I'm never going to get over this one, ever. I already know it. To your point about watching it back, couldn't even watch it back. It's devastating.
Now, of course, we all know Jason Kelce had quite the night after his brother won the Super Bowl, just based off of this video right here alone. But in case you were convinced, there's also this video the day after. This is Monday morning, and here's Jason in the same outfit, just stumbling into a tree, I guess? Party on, my friend. Listen, I did the same thing if my brother had just won the Super Bowl. Now, once Kelce's hangover subsides, he obviously has a decision to make, and we've talked about it a billion times here on the channel. Although I think his answer to Shaq on Shaq's podcast a couple of days ago is the clearest answer we've gotten about where his head's at on his retirement or keep playing decision.
So what has to happen for you to play next season?
I think if I still want to play, I'm going to play. I think, right now we're not far enough away from the last game. It's emotional. It's a long season. We ended the season, quite frankly, awful. You know that as a Bears fan. And so I'm just going to take some time, rest, recoup, and then figure it out. I think I'll have an answer in the next couple
What was
weeks.
your advice?
Now listen, I'm like you. I'm tired of guessing. I'm tired of clicking on headlines and being like, oh, what's he going to do? And then it's like, well, maybe he's going to come back. Maybe he's not. Let's just wait and see. My guess is he's still going to retire. And there are a lot of comments down below saying, no, he's not going to retire. He's going to stay in Philadelphia. I think either way, Philly will be okay on the offensive line. I trust Cam Jurgens. But can Jason Kelce give us one more year? We're going to find out sooner rather than later. Now, of course, for me, watch the Super Bowl on Sunday night and remembering just how close Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown were to winning one just a year prior had me absolutely fired up. But apparently, it fired up Eagle players as well. How about A.J. Brown taking to social media the morning after the big game and posting this?
The hunt is on. No matter if you running or you hunting, you better be running. A new season.
Likewise, Jalen Hurts, he spoke on recent criticisms of his play and leadership, saying, quote, as the leader and quarterback of this team and franchise, this is just an opportunity to grow. It's time to get back to work. A little soon, but it's time to get back to the work. I ain't running from anything. 2024 is going to be a fascinating season because this past year we were coming off the Super Bowl high and saying, oh, we're going to reload and go back to the bowl, and then, of course, they didn't. This offseason is going to be critical to make sure you get the right pieces on both the defense and offense, but the new coaching staff, I think, already makes you better than you were in 2023. I can't wait for 2024. It's only, 6, 7, 8 months away? Now, speaking of the new coaching staff, it sounds like Kellen Moore has begun to reach out to his offensive skill players, as confirmed by DeVonta Smith via Chris Long's podcast the other day.
He actually called me 2 days ago. We talked a little bit. He told me some things to watch, and from what I've seen so far, I like it. A chance for guys, to move around more. A lot of, matchups, attack the matchups where you're going to get the matchup that you want, and that's the beauty of this game, man. This game is all about matchups. It's all about making plays. So just putting us in the place to go out there and do that. That's what it's all about. And then it's also a man zone indicator. So like you'll know if it's man zone. But you have a lot of people that do it now. They travel and then they do a false man and go to zone. But majority of the time it's just all about making it easier, for Jalen, making it easier for everybody on offense, so we can just see what's going on instead of us just going out there and like, okay, just line up and go win your one-on-one.
I love that clip. Like, you can hear it in his voice. Smitty knows what Kellen Moore's offense means for really his career and production overall. Talks a lot about matchups and pre-snap motion and finding ways to use DeVonta Smith to exploit poor defenders, which, let's be real, I mean, it's rampant in a lot of secondaries in the NFL. Smitty is like the ultimate offensive weapon because all eyes go to A.J. Brown. Like, Smitty's already wide receiver 1. When you have A.J. Brown on the other side, you're going to get a bunch of opportunities with Smitty against really bad defenders versus what Brian Johnson tried to do and just say, hey, Smitty, you're going to stay on this side of the field and just hopefully win. Kellen Moore, on the other hand, is going to make sure you get the right matchup that guarantees you're going to win on one-on-one situations. Now, my guess is DeVonta Smith's contract is going to be one of the first moves Howie Roseman makes this offseason, as you got to extend the guy. You can't let him walk at all. It's not even an option. But once the new league year officially begins, you get that contract done with DeVonta Smith, keep him here in Philadelphia for the next 3 or 4 years, free up some cap space by pushing some guaranteed money to the front, moving some of the money to the back as well, and then hopefully use some of that extra money this season to go sign some new defensive players. Now, speaking of those defensive players, we of course mentioned on Sunday morning that there's a brand new report saying the star pass rusher Haason Reddick was granted permission to seek a trade due to Philadelphia basically not being able to afford his rumored $25 to $30 million a year price tag. And while it stinks to see him go, I think the suitors are already starting to line up, as the Liberty line confirmed yesterday that Atlanta has shown initial interest in trading for Philadelphia Eagles star pass rusher Haason Reddick. However, a new report from Jordan Schultz just dropped literally minutes ago where he said, I just spoke to Eagles pass rusher Haason Reddick, who tells me he never requested a trade and he wants to stay in Philadelphia. I would like to get an extension done here at home. At no point did I ever tell the organization I want to be traded. Reddick has 1 year left on his deal with no guaranteed money left. This is home for me. I was born and raised here. 2 of the most fun years playing football in my life came here. I cherished being an Eagle. Okay, so I guess the idea that Reddick asked for a trade, as previously reported, isn't necessarily true. Seems more like Philly has told him, hey, listen, we can't afford the expensive expectations that you have in a contract, so either we'll meet in the middle, you can stay an Eagle for the rest of your life, we'll give you that extension, or your agent has permission to go look for a trade and find a team that would actually want to pay you. Either way, don't take this as he's not going to be traded. I think there still is a chance he could be moved, especially since he's taken a lot of team-friendly deals throughout his career. He probably wants to get that bag this season. Now, someone who personally lives in Atlanta and has been around the football team for a couple of years, they need a pass rusher. They've been trying to get a pass rusher in Atlanta that makes a difference for the entire 5 years I've been here in the ATL. They have the money, they have the cap space, they have everything you could possibly want if you're Philadelphia. If they were to give Howie a call, he's going to pick up the phone and answer. Now, my question is, what would Atlanta be willing to give up for Haason Reddick? Personally, I'd keep an eye on their 2 third-round draft picks. They have number 74 and number 79 overall. I don't think Reddick's worth a 1 or a 2, but a third-round draft pick would get me really intrigued. I've also seen some people mention Falcons star cornerback A.J. Terrell as a potential player who could be a trade option if you wanted to go player for Reddick, mainly due to the fact that Terrell is entering the final year of his rookie contract, but I highly doubt Atlanta wants to part with one of their best young cornerstones for what really is a much older pass rusher. Like, sure, same with the Patrick Surtain situation. I'd take him, I'd re-sign him, I would do it in a heartbeat, but if I was Atlanta, you don't want to get rid of younger guys for older guys. My guess is draft compensation, and maybe a 3rd or 4th round draft pick is a more likely option for a Reddick trade. In the end, though, we got to remember that Philadelphia kind of gave us the blueprint for what a double-digit sack pass rusher could actually cost in the trade market, because 2 years ago, they traded for Robert Quinn, who turned out to be a mega bust, although you got to remember, Robert Quinn was coming off a double-digit sack season, and he was given for a 4th-round draft pick. So 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick, there's some precedent there for a guy like Reddick. Not that I'm comparing him to Robert Quinn, but Quinn was very productive before he came to Philadelphia, and obviously Reddick was productive this past season. And the other defensive player to keep an eye on is Fletcher Cox, who I think he's either going to retire or go sign a 1-year deal with some team he's always wanted to play for. Although there was a headline the other day saying he wants to be a Steeler, which drew a lot of surprise from Eagle fans. But as Josh Davis pointed out on his Philly Special channel, the actual video of him on Cam Hayward's podcast joking about being a Steeler seems less than legit.
You?
I was going to say, it's Cam Hayward's podcast.
I love it. I love the honestly.
He set himself up.
That's the truth.
Appreciate that, brother.
Definitely you.
Appreciate that, brother. That's love.
That's the both, like, the respect that you got for the game, respect that I have for the game, the way that you play the game, the way that I play the game, like, definitely, that would have been nice.
I'm curious if you guys want a video breaking down all of Philadelphia's internal free agents, how much cap space they have, draft picks as well, basically a full offseason rundown. If you do, comment down below in the comment section right now, and I'll put one of those together probably in the next couple of days. There's plenty more stuff happening as the Super Bowl's over and the offseason officially is beginning here. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.